A lot of excitement this week. High school football playoff time is here. We're pleased to be speaking with the head coach of the Lakeside Warriors. Jason McClendon is in with us today. First of all, Coach, thanks for taking time to talk to us, and congratulations on a great year for Lakeside football. I know they were very happy with that 7-3 record.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me on, and I appreciate it. It's an honor for me and our football program to be represented on this radio station. And, it's been very exciting, and it's brought me a lot of pride and joy and happiness for just our football program, our seniors, our school, our community, the town of Sibley. It's been really, really awesome to see what we've been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time.
Well, it wasn't because of no athletes, because it was obvious over the past few years the other athletic programs have done extremely well. The baseball team,
Absolutely.
Basketball, the track team. You got world-class runner. For whatever reason, the football team had struggled for a few years. I know there have been coaching changes, and that sometimes takes its toll on a program. But to come here, I know you're from the area, but to come here knowing you're taking on a program that hasn't won a game in 2 seasons, you must have really had a desire to get back home and coach here locally.
I did. I'm originally from Shreveport, and I was born in Shreveport, and lived maybe about half of my life in Shreveport off and on. And I still have a lot of family in the Shreveport area, the Natchitoches area. So obviously, I'm very familiar with this area. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I lived in Houston, and we had our first child, a little boy. His name's Maverick, and we had him earlier this year. And we'd been really talking for the last 1.5 to 2 years that we really wanted to get somewhere that was a lot slower pace of life than Houston, get us kind of back to roots, back to family and friends and those kind of things, and where we can really invest in kind of a smaller community and a small community school. And so Lakeside kind of checked all the boxes, if you will, for all those things that we had been looking for. And I knew it would be a challenge, but it was a challenge that I welcomed because I did see potential from afar. And, I have a really good friend that I've coached with at a couple of different places that's on our staff, and he's my assistant head coach. And he'd kind of been telling me, the potential, and he and I see things the same way as far as how to build a program and what we look for. And so I trusted his evaluation in that. And after talking with Mr. Finley, the principal, and just the different folks, I thought, I think we can turn this around. And I felt pretty confident that with what I and what we were going to bring for the program, that we could turn around sooner than later. So I'm not shocked that we turned it around this quick, but I knew it was going to take a lot of hard work. So. Well,
it's definitely paid off, and the buzz actually started at the Jamboree when you played the Crimson Tide, scored quite a few points against the Tide, which got some folks thinking, well, maybe there's something here. Then you go to Ringgold. Of course, Ringgold's, they're having a down year, but still no one knew what anyone had the first game of the season.
Right.
You won that game, but you won it scoring a lot of points, and everyone goes, well, we got that first win. We got that monkey off our back. So that had to have been a good feeling that first week at Ringgold.
Oh, absolutely. And that was like the weight of the world, I think, lifted off of everybody's shoulders because, again, I guess the losing streak was like 23 games and had gone back basically 3 seasons.
Exactly.
And so, the kids were really excited, and we had talked really for about a month. Let's end the streak in the first game. Let's end it. Let's just get it over with, and so we don't have to talk about that and move on to the next thing that we're trying to do. So very exciting.
You come home to that game Montgomery, a little bit tougher opponent there, and they started out tough, but you hung in there, found a way. You won that game, first home win in quite a while. Yeah. So Montgomery was another stepping stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Montgomery was first home win in 3 years too. And the adversity we had really in the first half of that game was really self-inflicted. Montgomery's a solid program, really good coaching staff, but all the mistakes that were going on were really all of us, just mental stuff, kind of your early season stuff. I think our kids were a little too psyched out for their first home game, and I think they were trying a little bit too hard. We overcame that adversity, which was good for us to experience. And then we ended up kind of taking over, and that was good to again end another streak, a negative streak at home. So
go to Beekman Charter, get another win there. You come home to Rose Pine. With Rose Pine, they come here. That is a humbling experience. They're a tough team. They're solid, but I guess that was a good measuring stick of where you're stacking up against tougher competition.
Yeah, of course, they're a program that and not won a game in a couple years either, and they were under a first-year coach that's kind of in his fourth, I think, tour of duty there. But they were a good football team, physical, tough. But I think the problem in that game was our kids were, I think, starting to believe the press a little bit too much. I think they were arrogant. We kind of noticed that in practice throughout the week, and I had some concerns going into that. And I think we definitely needed that to kind of bring us back down to earth and give us a little dose of humility in that one.
You go to Block, get a win there. You come home to this game with North Caddo, to me, is one of those statement games because that's where I think the team really stepped up because that North Caddo is a tough team.
Yeah.
And they fought you guys, and you fought them. It was one of those games that now later on in the game you pull away, but for a while it was a slobber knocker. But that's a game where I think the team really stepped up and said, hey, we're for real.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, our kids were really looking forward to that game. There was a lot of other external reasons why they were looking forward to that game. But, I know the year before, I guess 2016, they I think got 77 points put on at North Caddo, and I think that gave them some extra motivation as well. But yeah, we knew if we could weather the storm, we felt like we'd be in great shape in that game, and not because North Caddo's not a good team, but just because they were starting so many guys both ways, and we knew our depth would be able to take over, but we just had to weather the storm, and thankfully we did, and we started making plays, and then in the second half, especially offensively, it just kind of became easy to us just because they were playing guys both ways, we weren't.
Right.
And so that really played to our advantage. But, yeah, that was a heck of a game. And that's honestly, in my coaching career, that's probably in the top 5 most memorable games I've coached in because I think I put about 5 years on my life in that one because that was
it was an exciting
stressful game.
The next week is a Thursday game, and no one likes Thursday games. You go to Calvary Baptist. Calvary's Calvary. What do you say? I mean, they're where you want to be.
Yeah, Calvary's a good team, good football program, obviously. Our kids and our program we're not at a point yet to be able to play that game how it should have been played. Honestly, our kids were beat before they got off the bus.
Yeah.
That's a mental thing. And that's something that we're trying to work on to change in our program is how we mentally approach games. And I think if we continue to improve in that area, when we face teams like a Calvary or somebody else, I think we'll be just fine. But I think a lot of that was just belief and things that you can't change in just 1 year in a program.
Exactly.
It takes a while to change that type of mindset.
Well, Calvary didn't get where they were in 1 year either. So
No, absolutely not.
All righty, then you're playing LaSalle at home, another solid team, a big win there, homecoming win, and you really started to, I think, as you mentioned, start to play with passion, which what you wanted your team to start instilling.
Yeah.
Darbone Woods Charter School at home, and that's your final regular season home game. Of course, they're kind of starting over, but they've got Coach Feaster. He's pulled rabbits out of his hat in the past, but you get a solid win there. And then, of course, the season-ending game at Mansfield, and that's where you take another punch in the nose.
Yeah,
physical team.
Yeah, that was another one where our kids came out with a lot of emotion early. Our defense, got a turnover, and they were doing their job. But again, when our offense is not clicking, it affects kind of our team. And so, in the first half, we had a couple of possessions. We got inside the 5-yard line, and we had a lot of mental mistakes. And our quarterback didn't play real well. I think he was a little tight in the first half in that game. And so that really affected us. And honestly, that score in the first half, if we would have taken care of our business, would have been a lot different. And so, but it's like the old Mo. When momentum starts going on the other side and your kids are not mentally tough enough to respond to that yet, it affects you, and then it just got out of hand. So, Coach Mike Green's doing a great job down there, and Mansfield's got a very solid program, great athletes, all those kind of things. But, again, that's another game as we move our program forward. Those things should begin to not happen in the future. So.
Regular season record 7-3, outstanding accomplishment. And then you get not just a first-round playoff game, a home playoff game. Yeah. Here comes Independence from down at Tangipahoa Parish. Let's talk about the Independence Tigers. They were ranked, I think y'all were 16 in the power ranking. They were 17. So apparently they must feel you guys are fairly evenly matched up.
Yeah, so I know a lot about Independence. Independence has got a really solid tradition. Coach Charles Baglio, who's on the LSU staff, kind of a high school relations guy for them, been doing that for a while. He was at Independence, and they had one of the best 3A programs in the state for probably about a 10, 15-year period. And, LeBrandon Tofield played there, that played at LSU, and a lot of really other good athletes. So really solid tradition. I mean, they're probably not where they used to be in that time period, but they're still a good football team, very athletic. So they're going to present some challenges, but yeah, we feel pretty confident. When we look at the film, we're very comparable. We looking at the film, we also know we have some advantages over them. So, but yeah, our kids are excited, and we kind of knew for a couple of weeks that whether we lost or we beat Mansfield, we knew we'd probably be around that spot.
Okay.
Based on the PowerPoints, everything we were kind of monitoring. So we felt pretty confident we would be at home, and that's a huge accomplishment in year one in our program and the process that we're going through. So yeah, I'm glad we're playing them. And hey, if we win, Independence name sounds good, so maybe we'll get some independence from our past playoff failures. So
maybe so. Now, Mansfield instead was a very physical game.
Yeah.
Everybody okay? You're going to need Jordan Pruitt's one of the top passers in the area. Buffett Coleman, outstanding running back. You got several receivers that can snatch one out of the air. Is everybody you're going to need going to be healthy to play Friday?
Everybody. Well, I'll just say this. Everybody we want is not going to be available.
Okay.
Chase Mitchell is most likely probably going to be out. We think we would have him next week. Pretty confident in that if we win. Our third leading receiver, Dalton Crumpler, we're going to kind of see what happens with him. I'm not overly confident he'll play, but it'll be a game-time decision. Gavin Jones, who's our second leading receiver, he was kind of nicked last week, but he's good to go now. He's full speed, and he's had a great week of practice, so he'll be there. Buffett is obviously very healthy, and really everybody else is healthy. But yeah, we're doing some things with our offense to kind of compensate for that and play to our strengths in that. So we still feel very good about our plan and what we're going to try to do to attack Independence's defense. And but yeah, I wish we had some of those other guys, knowing that for sure they'd be there, but they're probably not going to be.
Are they one of those read option type spread offense teams? Is that how they're going to throw the football? Or
no, they're not really a spread option team. They're really under center mostly.
Okay.
And their tailback, I think, is the second leading rusher in the state, and Buffett is actually the fourth leading rusher. So we got two of the top 5 running backs in the state in this game in Class 2A. But their running back, number 17, he's really kind of the guy that stirs their drink offensively. He's their guy, and because they don't really throw the ball much, and they're not great at throwing the ball. So very good running team, good big offensive line, and he's kind of what makes them go. Their running back, and so it'll be a great matchup of two really good running backs. And our guy Buffett Coleman, he's really close to actually breaking the school record for rushing yards in a season. He's about 200 away, so
wow.
He's had a great year, and he even missed a game early in the year because he was injured. So we're looking forward to actually watching both of these running backs compete.
Are you getting past the point where they're not just happy just to be here? We're out here to win this game and keep the season going. That's
my impression. Our practices the last couple of days have been very spirited, very passionate. The guys are having fun. We've been doing some things in practice and even post-practice to just do the things that we do, how we're building our program, and they seem very excited about that. Yesterday was a very physical practice, and our guys were just flying around with their heads on, their hair on fire. And based on my reading of our pulse of our team, I think they really want this and they're ready to go.
Coach, thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. Best of luck Friday night, and we hope to see you again next week. Maybe we'll talk about the next round of the playoffs.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Fans, need you out there Friday. All you folks around the Dubberly, Sibley area, Heflin, Doylean, up around this area, this is going to be a game, could be one for the ages. It's going to be a great high school football game. The Lakeside Warriors and the Independence Tigers in the first round of the Class 2A state playoff, 7 o'clock kickoff at Lakeside. We need a good crowd out there Friday night cheering on the Lakeside Warriors. Hope to see you at the game.